Hey everybody, happy Friday. How's it going? Hey there, Lisa Colovi. Good to see you. Don't feel like you have to stay or moderate tonight because I know you got stuff going on to get ready. Hey Gwen, Bro Cowgirl, good to see you. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a beautiful day today. Nice and cool, 70. Better than the 92 yesterday. Whew, I tell you. You're welcome, boo. Do what you got to do. Don't feel like you got to stay. I totally get it. Don't worry about posting links or anything. You got stuff to do, girl. But yeah, it's been a busy week here with rally going on, and rally will end on Sunday. I don't know how hot it was today. Yesterday was very hot. We were 92 and the town above us was 98. And we went to get feed today, and they were saying they had like 100. So, whoo, I'm glad we are where we are. Hey, Holman's Homestead. Hey, Rebecca, Touched by Yarn. Good to see you guys. Hey, Troy Sutton. Good to see you. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. I was thinking we'd talk about food preservation because it's that time of the year, right? Otherwise known as canning season or whatever. Probably started a while back for a lot of you in the southern region, right? We've been doing a lot of blanching and freezing like we usually do, like we did last year. The garden is starting to take off now. It's just kind of this year. Not bad, but hey, whatever you get. That's the way it goes. So, in addition to the garden, we put up 25 pounds of green beans, blanched and froze and vac sealed, that we bought locally. We also put up 11 pounds of asparagus, same way. And then what was the other one? 25 pounds of beets. So we put that up. So that is good. Some were pickled, some were blanched and frozen on the beets. But hey, it works. It works. So yeah. So what kind of things are you guys preserving? 4 of my birdhouse gourds have fallen off, now drying on the porch. Oh, nice. That will be exciting. Hi, Annie. Good to see you, our urban homestead. Thanks, Troy Sutton. Yep, make sure to hit the thumbs up. We appreciate it very, very much. Good to see everybody this evening. Oh, Lisa Clover, you're the bomb. Anywho, I'm trying to think what else. So we've been blanching and freezing because we prefer frozen vegetables, as you know. So we have been putting up broccoli. We have been putting up lots of zucchini and yellow squash. Kind of bummed. No butternut squash, it looks like. No acorn squash. So bummed. It just looks like it's not being pollinated, despite me cutting the leaves back for airflow and also exposing the blossoms so they could be seen easier. I even tried to self-pollinate, which is a no-brainer how to do it, but apparently I screwed that up. Whatever. But that's okay. That's okay. The Brussels sprouts are coming on. We've got other stuff growing. We've got lettuce. And the peppers are real slow. So that's why the garden's not doing that great, because the peppers are real slow. So I think eggplant will be something we won't waste our time with again. It's taking up precious room in the greenhouse and doing nothing, not even blooming. Crazy, which is fine because we don't like a lot of it. I just thought, oh, it'd be neat to grow one year, a different variety. So we will see. Gwen said, only thing I've canned this year is the Rotel I did the other day. That's awesome. I think you're onto something there using the cherry or grape tomatoes, I should say. A lot easier for you in that climate. What else are we doing? As long as I don't self-pollinate myself, I'm doing good. Yeah, exactly. Uh, we in other news, besides the garden, I'll get back to the garden. We went to castrate the piglets. And as many of you know, we've always castrated our own piglets. We usually do it in the first week or two. We even waited an extra week this year and had trouble finding 2 testicles, which is, pigs don't get banded. They have to be surgically cut with a scalpel and all that to remove them. I'm trying to not be gross, but it's a fact of life. So if this is not something you want to hear about, you can move on, but I will take 2 seconds to finish. So you cut and you remove. And the rule of thumb is if you don't feel 2, you don't cut. And so what happens is the piglets get scared, they get wound up, and they kind of suck them up into them, and you can't feel them. So usually we calm them down, snuggle them for a bit, and we can feel them and we can move on. I think the other part of it is we've been kind of scorned with having scrotal hernias that we are a little more extra cautious because then you end up having to cull a piglet. So we found out that there is a vet in Wyoming about an hour from us, one way, that will see pigs. And we made an appointment to have both of them castrated. And the reason why we're going through the expense is because we don't want to lose any. At this point, it looks like Fiona is not bred. Having 2 and raising 2 together is a lot easier than 1. Think Norman when we were raising 1 because we lost his brother. And it got really cold out. 2 is a much bigger difference. And keep in mind, we've got to raise these guys for, let's see, Waylon was like 17 months when we butchered him. So we really don't want to lose these 2. And we figured for 2 piglets, not 20, it was worth it to build a relationship with a vet, because if you've been here for any length of time, you know that we have never had access to a vet for the pigs. We've had to handle it ourselves. And we did have one vet who was kind enough to help us when he was able to, but not a vet who knows about pigs. So anyway, they're willing to do it. So that way we can establish a relationship. So if we need antibiotics or anything, it's nice to have an option other than the ones we had. Basically, the one we had was guess and throw things at it, do research, try to throw things at it. And if all else fails, the animal might not make it. So, yep, it's in Newcastle, Salt Creek. Hey, Craig, good to see you. Thanks, Holman's. Yeah, it's really good. So we have decided to let them do it so we can build a relationship with them, which will make us feel better. So especially since we have, 4 pigs here all the time. And then even when you're raising 2 for me, you don't want anything to happen to them. You don't want something dumb. And if you guys remember when we had Waylon, he had worms, and even though we dewormed him so many times, and he was very sick with worms, and we were able to treat it because we were lucky enough to have a vet to give us penicillin, we had the dewormer, but to give us penicillin because they caused the secondary infection. So that was really helpful. So I'm really, really glad. Yeah, I've heard he's awesome. I've heard he's really great. So he's on vacation. We're waiting for him to come back. And so we're going to go down there on the 20th and get that done. And I think it's a really smart decision for us to do that because fingers crossed, we will come out with 2 piglets. We do not believe either one have a scrotal hernia. It's just that we're not cutting unless we find 2 testicles. So I've even seen parrots there. Wow. Hey, River Rat, good to see you, Red. Absolutely. It's a good call. And so that's what we're going to be doing. So once they get through that process, then I'll let you know what we're naming them and stuff. I try not to name them until they're done with that process. But they'll be about 5 weeks when that happens. So a little older than we wanted, but life happens that way. So we're excited to have found a vet finally, which is really awesome. So let's see. So I know Holman's Homestead, Carolyn did some fermented pickles and they looked amazing. You got to check that out. Looked really good. Can sows get cystic like goats can and not get bred? The treatment for goats is lutealized and I don't know. I do not know, Gwen, honestly. Um, I'm kind of not worried. Here's the thing. Straight up, it's a lot easier for us, the smaller litters, because the year that we had 15 was a lot. And then to have to sell them and worry about selling them or worry about processing them if we don't sell them, which is a lot of pigs to do and a lot of pigs to feed. So it's not like, oh, we only had 2, we're taking a huge loss. It actually makes me thrilled to not have to sell any pigs. I mean, I'm sad we lost the runt. I'm sad we had a stillborn. But I'm kind of glad we only had 1 litter, and I'm kind of glad we only have a couple pigs. If we would have had 3, I would have kept the 3 and not sold the runt if she would have made it. And as for Fiona not being bred, it's kind of not the end of the world for me because, Eleanor needs a buddy in wintertime. So when the pigs are gone after they're processed for meat, after like 17 months, Fiona would still be there to keep Eleanor company. Because they are social, they need a buddy. And I like them to have a buddy if it's brutal winter. So, like, I could easily give up Fiona and get another sow or a gilt and start over. And at some point I may, but right now, yeah, I'm going to look into it now that you mentioned it. I'm definitely going to look into it. Yeah, I mean, I think that I also get other benefits out of her though, feeding her year round, and that is she keeps Eleanor company. And in the winter, because we keep them through the winter. So I just wouldn't add another sow, if that makes sense. Like, so if it came down to it and we decided that we wanted to get another sow to ensure another litter, then I would get rid of Fiona. I would sell her and move on. Definitely. I wouldn't add to the herd and keep Fiona, but if I added to the herd, Fiona would definitely go. Absolutely. My hair is sticking up. How are everyone's bell peppers doing? Holman said ours is doing great so far. Riverette said I'm getting few flowers and no peppers. Yeah, peppers are doing awful. The only ones that are doing well, ironically, are my poblanos. So either I've labeled them wrong or they're doing well. And ironically, they're the ones that I grew from seed versus the starts that I bought, which I'm shocked. Usually the starts flower quicker. But all my peppers in the greenhouses are not doing great at all. They're just starting to get peppers. But normally on a homestead, going back to what Gwen said, normally on a homestead, yes, I would move her along. I don't know how many more years we're going to breed the pigs. I may just not breed Fiona anymore. But I'll definitely look into the cis thing. So I'm going to actually take a picture of that so I have it. Oh, and Homans, I see your comment now. She's already had to make 2 more batches. That's awesome. Yeah. I don't know. The one, I'm weird. Unless I could no longer afford to feed them, I'm probably going to keep the 4 pigs as long as I can. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. Holman's Homestead, are you fertilizing them? I don't know about Holman's, but I know that I've fertilized mine and still haven't seen any changes. But I would definitely fertilize if you have not. But yeah, the pigs, just because I enjoy them so much, and it's not like I've had them my whole life and I'm really enjoying them. So we'll see how it goes. With what to fertilize? I use something else. I can't remember the name of it. I can probably look it up. Hold on. Let me look it up because I know it's on their website. You could use a basic general fertilizer like a 10-10-10 or something like that. I'm looking to see what fertilizers they use. Oh, let me see. Let me look it up. Miracle-Gro, that's for blooms, higher phosphorus. That's what Holman said. That's a good thing to know. Thank you. I'm trying to look to see what the one I used was. But I'd go with what Holman said, quite honestly. Because they are killer with what they do. Yeah, I can't find mine. Usually it's on the website. Also been adding calcium in with it. Yeah, I had 2 peppers that looked like they had blossom end rot, which was that like brown spot on them. So I plucked them off and I added sweet barn lime because that's what I tend to have all the time. So I just added that and water it in. Good to know though. Miracle-Gro, that's for blooms with higher phosphorus. I'm going to take a picture of that too. Good to know. Although I think at this point, I'm going to just leave it at that because we're late in the season for us and we could have a first frost mid-September or it might go to October. You don't know. I'm going to stick with what I have right now. We had our garlic this year. It was very small. We but we got our garlic. We freeze whole peeled cloves. So that works really well. So that way they're ready to go. Blight started hitting the maters this week. Oh no, I'm so sorry. Gwen said I would try giving the peppers some nitrogen fertilizer if they are blooming but not setting. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to leave mine as is because I'll just stop watering at some point. They're going to have till the end of August, and that's it. If they're not producing, I'm going to stop. Or not. Some say it stops production. I don't know. Holman said yes, and Tums, the one with calcium added in it. Also. Okay. Nice. Good deal. Good deal. Smart. I usually have the barn lime, and it's this stuff that I bought that I actually used on the garden. I've used it on the zucchini and the yellow squash to take care of the blossom end rot, because ever since we had it that one year, we tend to get it now every year. So what I've been doing is we throw some in and then we top dress all the plants with it to avoid it, and it's been working just fine. But the stuff that I bought is a lot more dustier because it's finely ground. So it tends to get right in there, or I'll dissolve it in the water and I throw it in there. Hey Drops, good to see you. Just throw azomite. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look it up. Gwen, what do you think is more of a phosphorus deficiency? I just want to clarify. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. That's cool. So what are you guys preserving? You preserving anything like Holman's? You must be pulling in maters right now like crazy, especially with blight hit and trying to avoid it. Okay, phosphorus for blooming and not setting fruit. Yep. Cool. And our weather's been up and down. Like yesterday we were 92. Today we were 70. So, we're up and down. I didn't even open the greenhouses today because it's cool. So that way it kept it about 85, 90 in there. And then ironically, we have bush cucumbers, and I think I've gotten 2 cucumbers. So bizarre. For now, she's been coring the maters and throwing in the freezer for later on. Smart. Yeah, I should have thought of that. I know that's what I do. It's easier to look at what you have when you're all done and decide what you want to make. Been getting a ton of cucumbers this year, just canning pickles like crazy. That's good, Drops. We had a ton, like I think we had 80 something pounds last year, and I'm like, I'm not growing. I just wanted a couple of cucumbers, a few, but we don't eat a lot of pickles, and it's like there were just so many last year I couldn't even give them away anymore. People would look at me and see me coming, and they're like, nope, I don't want a cucumber. But I'm gonna go to the county fair tomorrow and check things out, see what they've got going on. It's kind of weird because we have our county fair is this weekend. So like it started yesterday and it was today and then Saturday and Sunday. And it's just weird because, you gotta like heavy harvesting starts in August here. So at least in our town, but if you're, in the county, it's different because you could start harvesting earlier. Are you canning any different pickle recipes, Drops? Like aside from the usual? Kind of curious. Yeah, because there's such a wide temperature range for our area. Because I know that, like I said earlier, it was 92 here. It was 98, 20 minutes north of us. It was about 100 east of us. So it's like it really makes a difference with the elevation and all that. Holman said everything has produced good except the green beans this year. The weeds have really produced. Yeah. We have a lot more weeds than usual too. We've been I added leeks in between the cabbages because I knew that if I kept the cabbage leaves, like I cut them and left the leeks there, I knew once I harvested the cabbage, I would pull the plant out and the leeks would have room and they would have light because I got a killer deal. It was like $1 for a tray of a bunch of them. There had to be like 20 leeks in there. And I never grew them before. So I said, let me give it a shot. I can't tell you how many times we stepped on the leeks in between the cabbages. It was such a bad idea. But they're still doing good, ironically. Drop said Cajun dill, Cajun sweet, spicy dill, bread and butter. I pickle okra, carrots, and pickles together too in those Cajun configurations. Neat. Neat. Very cool. Yeah, we didn't do green beans this year. So the acorn squash didn't do anything except grow. The butternut squash grow and produce blossoms, but nothing's pollinating them. The asparagus, I'm so sad about it. Didn't do anything. Hey, Blue, good morning. Holman said I had to take the weed eater down the rows of corns this year. Hard to hoe in the mud. No kidding. No kidding. We took a weed eater too. It was just wild. Drop says I'm probably getting 50 pounds of cucumbers a week right now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I couldn't eat all those. Tomatoes would be cool. I couldn't deal with that many cucumbers. Lord, we had so many cucumbers last year. I didn't know what to do with them all. I'm trying to think what else. Zucchini and yellow squash, broccoli did amazing. The Brussels sprouts look amazing. We definitely got more broccoli than we did cauliflower this year. I definitely will not plant non-self-blanching cauliflower anymore. The self-blanching was what we grew last year, and it did a lot better. Yep, I am aware of that, Blue. These are 5 years old, Blue, and they pop up every year, and we were finally able to harvest everything this year, and only one popped up. And we think it was because it was an extremely mild and dry winter. Same thing with our garlic. We think that because of the mild winter and the dry conditions, we think that was to blame. Yep, we've got some sandy soil in there. Do you think the smoke from Canada has an effect on your growing season? Some years, I would definitely agree. However, we are not seeing as much smoke this year as we have in the past. It's actually been delightful. I would say the first 3 years, we had a lot of smoke between prescribed burns and all that. No worries, Holman's Home said. Have a great weekend. Take care of yourselves. Give mom a hug. Stay safe. So yeah, because we've actually had rain this year, not tons, but enough. It's been a lot different this year because right now, usually everything is dry, crunchy, and dead. And we actually have green grass still, which is bizarre for us in August. So we're kind of thrilled that we have it, but it's been nice because it's kept the fires down. So, but yeah, usually, we usually experience the smoke from the Canadian fires quite a bit, and we have not had to deal with it, which has been nice. Tomatoes just kicking in now. Soon it will be canning time for those too. Nice. Nice. I feel relief that I don't have a ton of tomatoes this year, I have to tell you. I really do. It was nice not to have to start them so early, have to deal with them in the house, have to get them outside, worry about the frost, all that. It's just a huge relief not to have to deal with them. I have 4 tomato plants that a friend gave me. They're in the green greenhouse that's fallen apart, and I haven't even looked at them except that I saw the other day I had to tie them up and weed whack in there. And I saw some blossom end rot. I threw some barn lime on, watered them, and walked out the door. I'm just trying to back off a little this year. So it's been really good, though. It's been really good. So what are the ways that you love, like I know canning is a big one, but say aside, like what's your number one way to preserve food? Like what are your top 3 ways to preserve food in order? I'm kind of curious. After doing absolutely nothing at all this year, I've discovered the front yard garden is riddled with Chinese artichokes, and I am in no way upset about it. Chinese artichokes. I got to look that up. I don't know what they are. I wouldn't be upset about it. Oh wow, those are weird looking. They look like little worms. They're tubers. Can you see that? That's a Chinese artichoke. Let me take the blur off. That is bizarre. Chinese artichoke. Interesting. What do you do with them, Blue? They look like grubs. um okay, so Drop said can, dehydrate, in freezer. Gwen says canning, freezing, dehydrating. Blue says water bath, pickle, dehydrate. I'd say freezing, freeze drying, canning for me. Is that the same thing as a Jerusalem artichoke? Yeah, but they are lush raw or pickled or even stir fried. Wow. Interesting. So not the same thing as a Jerusalem artichoke. A Jerusalem artichoke. Well, they look similar. That's a Jerusalem artichoke right there. Interesting. Oh, they don't have the effect that the Jerusalem artichokes have on you, which if I remember correctly is going to the bathroom a lot if you start eating them in large quantities. I'm just trying to put the blur back on. Not a fartichoke. Yeah. I like regular artichokes. They're really good. Yeah, it looks like the Chinese artichoke is a root also, like a tuber. A fartichoke. I love that. I love that. Blue, what are your temperatures over there like this time of year? It's warm, if I remember correctly. Not, I don't know if it's hot, but it's warmer. I can't remember. And I know last year you guys had a ton of rain. I don't think you're getting tons of rain this year, if I remember right. I could be wrong. Yep, they are. I did put in yucca, Chinese artichokes, and ova a few years ago. These have gone wild. Very cool. We have soapweed yucca here, and it's in the prairies, so it's out, like, it's in the lower different elevation out of the Black Hills. Well, it's in the Black Hills too, but um I went down to get pig feed today, and for the first time in my life, I couldn't believe how loaded down the soapweed yucca is with seed pods. And I kept thinking, like, how weird is this? Because I've had yucca in my gardens before, and I'm pretty familiar with yucca, and I've never seen so many seed pods in my life today. So I get on this, you know, downward spiral black hole on the internet, looking up why there are so many seed pods. And it's because of several reasons. They said it could be number one, a good yucca year. Number two, it's because good pollination by the yucca moth. And it could also be because the plant had rain during crucial moments in its development. And I'm telling you, they were just loaded. Like, bushes probably had 25 seed pods on them, and I couldn't believe it. It was really cool. Yeah, the blooms are gorgeous. But after the blooms come the seed pods, and I'm telling you, I've never seen seed pods like this. It was really weird. We have Blue said we're about to go through another quote unquote heat wave till the end of September, which I was expecting. Apparently around 28 to 32 Celsius, which means we're going to shrivel into raisins. No kidding. Hey, Alfonso, good to see you. Yeah, wow. Heat waves. They said it was supposed to be hotter and drier this summer, and that's not the case here. I mean, we've just had some hot days in the 90s, but I mean, I don't like it, but nothing brutal, nothing out of the ordinary. Seed pods were for chunking at each other when we were kids. Let me tell you, you would have had plenty of ammunition today. I could not believe how many I saw. It was unreal. Hey, Annette at the Cow Emporium. Good to see you. Drop said it only stopped raining 2 weeks ago. Oh, wow. 28 to 32 Celsius, where I used to live in Queensland, was winter. Here it's the 13th ring of hell. It is so not the same. I bet. I bet. And I have to hold on a minute. I always have to do the calculations. Because I will never remember it. So 28. Oh, so you'll be in the 80s to 89 Fahrenheit. Okay. That's about what we are usually. And then we have some cooler days. Yep. I know you say only 89. 89 is rough for me. 89 is rough for me, Gwen. It gets above 85, I'm not happy. Although I will say we were 92 yesterday and I did very well considering. Usually I am not a happy camper at all. At all. So, Annette, what are your top 3 ways? I could answer this for you, but I won't. Top 3 ways to preserve food in the order that you like them. So I will tell you what other people said to catch up. Let me go back up. Hold on. So Drop says can, dehydrate, freezer. Gwen said canning, freezing, dehydrating. Blue said water bath, pickle, dehydrate. I said freezer, freeze dryer, and canning. That's my order. And Annette said freeze, dehydrate, and ferment. Oh yeah, ferment's cool too. '89 is hot, but it's not brutal for us. Yeah, exactly. Blue said it's way hotter. It's bonkers. Our house tends to be 10 to 15 degrees hotter than outside. Yeah, we have that problem in the afternoon. Drop said it got to 100 today with high humidity. Ugh, I can't do it. But I like that. Freeze, dehydrate, and ferment. She said pickle too, likely before ferment. Yep. That's accurate. I love freezing stuff. I just feel like it is so fresh tasting. And we've been enjoying eating summer squash in the dead of winter. So it's been really nice. I like pickling too. I like pickling a lot. Pickling is great. Ferment, I like the sauerkraut. We have a batch of sauerkraut fermenting for 21 days and I'm going to can it. And yes, I know when I can it, I'm going to kill the probiotics in it. And that's okay. The reason why I'm doing it is people say it lasts up to a year in the fridge. Mine didn't make it up to a year in the fridge. And we just don't eat a lot of it. So I want to can it so I have it on hand and it's made by us versus being store bought. So that's why I'm doing it. So I just want to preserve it for the shelf because it's literally, I mean, we just don't eat enough sauerkraut. Amanda just texted me, won another 82 on Freya tonight. Congrats, Amanda. That's awesome. I need to get my broccoli in the freezer. Yes. I've been getting our broccoli in the freezer, as you know, Annette, and this year I am being a little more stingy with how much I cut off of it because our stalks are not tough like the store-bought stuff where sometimes you have to peel it. So what we've been doing is leaving long stalks on them to get more out of them. Did you try to freeze dry the sauerkraut? I did not. I could definitely do that. We are considering freezing whole heads of cabbage like you and I talked about, Annette. And because we saw a recipe where you could actually make, instead of pasta, you can use cabbage to roll up and make lasagna roll-ups. And we have a bunch of cabbage, so we thought that would be really good. But I definitely need to, I could try freeze drying the sauerkraut. I have not done that yet. Good for Amanda. That's awesome. I don't know, Alfonso. Well, I mean, to me, stingy is more, you're being stingy. You're controlling what you're doling out. So instead of being generous in giving stuff out, you're holding on to some stuff for yourself. Greedy is you're trying to gobble everything up. So like if it was money, you might only give a quarter to somebody instead of $1 or $50. And greedy is you're trying to suck all the money you can. It's mind blowing. I'm so excited for her and this new horse. She's doing so well. She's doing so well. Gwen's daughter barrel races. I'll leave it at that. Gwen can share the rest. Because that's her family stuff. And I respect that. But yeah, that's very exciting. Very, very exciting. So Annette's got to get her broccoli in the freezer. I soak mine in water in the fridge until I can get to it. And it does great. And it gets a lot of the worms out. And then when I blanch and when I blanch them, the worms all come to the top of the water, dead usually, and I can scoop them out and rinse everything off. Have you made lasagna with zucchini? Funny you mentioned that. I have a zucchini that is like the size of my arm, and that's what I am going to make next. When I put up all that squash the other day, I did leave the big one out because I'm going to make strips, and I'm going to make lasagna with it. How do you cut yours? Do you cut yours with a knife or do you use a mandolin? Kind of curious. Not a fan of the mandolin because I shouldn't be allowed to use it. But I can have my husband do it. Because I will cut myself with a mandolin. She entered this new horse, Freya, for the first time, training for herself 2 Fridays ago. Then she's won 960 on her in 4 runs. Awesome. Now, a mandolin is a very sharp inch, like with a fixed blade and then a moving part so you can cut it. A mandolin would be better, but I've had trouble before myself. Yeah. The new one I have has a better guard on it. And I've learned that if I use the mandolin, you're going to laugh. I use the chain mail glove, the no-cut gloves like I do for chicken butchering. That's the only way I use a mandolin because otherwise Lisa makes a trip to the hospital. Just like Lisa Colovi, because she said mandolins and me don't get along. Yeah. Mandolins and irons, right, Lisa? If I remember, you've had your fair share of iron burns. Yeah, I'm going to try and do that. Excuse me. So I thought that would be really cool. But other than that, I think, this weekend we're going to look through. We just did a harvest in the garden the other day. And I'm going to try to look through and see what else is going on. But we planted double the amount of Brussels sprouts this year. So fingers crossed because they're looking good and they're starting to develop. They're just not at a point where I can tell if the heads are going to be tight like they were last year, like they should be. So I'm hoping. I love the chainmail gloves too. They have been life-saving for me. Gwen says she usually just cuts zucchini with a knife for lasagna. Awesome. Lisa says that is true. These items just go after me somehow. I can't understand why. Do you have a meat slicer? That works great too. I do. I think the mandolin will be the best bet though. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that because we have a pretty large one. So I'm definitely going to do that. I want them to be kind of uniform, but that'll be fun to make. That is a great idea. We have a heavy duty meat slicer made in Italy. It's really, really good. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And he'll do it and he does a better job because he has more patience. That's why I cut myself. I have no patience. So yeah, he'll cut it. I was thinking of making a couple of them actually and putting them in the freezer to have. So I thought that would be a good idea. I was going to assemble them and freeze them and then take them out and defrost them and bake them. So I figured it'd be good to have that on hand. Yeah, he'll see the mandolin come out and he'll say, yeah, you might want to just give me this. Okay. Yep. Sounds great. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get going. We've got the county fair tomorrow, like I said. The piglets will be castrated on the 20th. So I will feel a lot better when that's over and done with. I cannot believe that we are already on August 8th. It's mind-blowing, mind-blowing. And yeah, the county fair will be like a 20-minute walkthrough. There's really not much going on. But have a great weekend, everybody. Take care of yourselves, and thanks for coming. As always, great to hear from all of you and see all of you. So take care, guys. See ya. Bye.